Hello, my friends. I am doing something a little bit different today. I'm out for a walk. I'm actually quite tired. I had the new moon in Aries, two rituals actually on that day to do. And I'm out in nature. I have to share the spot with you. This is Lynn Valley in Vancouver, North Vancouver. I'm right by a little brook in such a magical forest. I can't even describe how special this place is. I'm only about 10-minute walking distance. It's incredible. I'm so grateful for this space. And I come here to recharge. This is my sanctuary. And on my walk, I was thinking about a couple things, especially some topics that a lot of people ask about. And I'm holding this with my arm and I know it's going to get tired. I should have brought a tripod. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about doing a video out here. I think I might do more. But I was really tired today. I didn't think I was going to do a video, but I felt inspired. I feel it's a good time to do this and talk about this particular topic. Several people have asked me, why is this journey so hard for self-discovery, for healing? And how come a lot of people aren't going through this, or how come a lot of people aren't suffering like this, or do other people feel this? And it's a great question. I love talking about this because truthfully, and I may have mentioned this in another video in a piece of it, everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own degree of suffering or of transformation, if you want to call it suffering. I feel sometimes it is, truthfully, but suffering is the degree that we give something. When we go through transformation, things are going to come up to the surface, and they have to. And we can't fear the shadow. We can't fear the dark side of our existence, because that is where we learn. That's where we grow. That is, if we didn't have the hard stuff, if we didn't have the shadow, we wouldn't know the light. We wouldn't know the difference. We wouldn't have anything to compare it to. And we wouldn't learn through it. Like, that is an essential part of our existence. And yes, there are a lot of people who won't go into the work, who won't address the shadow, who won't face the hard stuff, who might avoid it because it's unknown, it's scary, it's foreign, it brings up stuff from the past. A lot of people just don't want to go there and relive it again, which is fair. I get that. 100% I get that. But in order to fully release from that, we need to face it. We need to go into it and understand it. And that's part of the work it's a lot of the work that I do actually, is to guide people through this, because I've been through this, it feels like my entire life, and probably many lifetimes before. And I'm now finally coming to this understanding and compassion to the hard side, to the dark side. I still go through it, not nearly as much as I used to in the past. I used to live in it full time. It was a full-time business. And now it's very temporary. It's just something that comes up, and I know it's cycling through. I know it's bringing up something for me to face, for me to identify, for me to also even go into my heart and work with it from a place of understanding and love, if I can. And sometimes it's really hard to find that place. But when you go through that transformation, when you let it happen, you will transform. You will feel better on the other side. And again, when you go through this work, it won't last that long. After a certain period of time, it might only last a couple days rather than a couple months. And if you don't work through this process, you live with it your entire life, and you might not even know it. You'll repress it, suppress it into your body. It will turn into a disease. It will turn into a body ache. It will, there might be numbing. There might be the need to find other ways to cope because of not facing something that needs to be resolved. And it is all about resolving things that we have. And there's nothing wrong with You know, we've all been through this. We've all been through some kind of trauma, some kind of pain, some kind of hurt. It doesn't mean that we're a weak person. It doesn't mean that we're a bad person. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with us. This is our experience, and we need to be kinder and gentler with ourselves during the process so that we can understand that I'm just a human, and I'm trying to just figure this out. I'm trying to go through the process of becoming better and living in a higher expression of myself and having higher expression relationships, higher vibrational relationships, higher vibrational health. That's a huge part of it. Sorry, I know this is very it's not a stable I'm trying to find a good I'm trying to hold my arm with my hand and talk at the same time. So I do apologize for the lack of um, precision and quality with this video, and I do hope that my sound is coming through with this brook here, but I thought it was really nice. It's a nice setting to sit. I'm going to do this again. But again, we need to face the shadows. We need to go into the dark. And sometimes if we repress it for so long, and if we don't identify, if we say, no, I'm fine, I'm good. I've done that for years. I did that for years. It will come up. It will come up in some kind of way because it does need to cycle through. It needs your attention. And even things that you don't even know exist in your body or in your system, in your soul, in your subconscious, it will come up at some point. And it's not because you repressed, it's not because you suppressed it, it's not because you didn't want to face it, it's because it's subconscious. So there are many layers to this, right? There are the obvious conscious layers, and then there are the subconscious layers. And the subconscious is the unseen. You know it's there, you know there's something, but it's not going to surface until the time is right, until you need to go through it in that moment in time. Or unless also you go through the conscious work of transformation to really work through it so that you can almost streamline your process to move into a place of higher expansion, higher frequency, ditch the old energy, ditch that old weight, and move into something more creative, more liberating, claim your sovereignty from all that past energy, the past thoughts, you know what I'm talking about here. So it is, again, if you don't do the work, it's going to come up at some point, but be gentle with yourself and know that we do need to face our shadows. We do need to face the dark stuff. We do need to face the hard stuff. It's part of our existence. And the amount of weight that we give that energy is going to be the amount of negative experience you're going to have through that experience, through that work, through that healing, through the transformation, through cycling that old energy through. So if we label something as, oh, that's really, really painful, traumatic, hard, awful, then that's what it is going to be. But if we label it as something as, okay, I know what this is, I'm going to work through it, I'm going to manage this in the healthiest way possible, or I'm going to get some guidance, or whatever this is, then you'll work with it, through it with ease, and it will get easier, and it will get easier. It still is tough. I mean, I'm speaking from my experience. I probably had the hard end of the stick. For me, when it comes up, it feels very real, and it's really tough to work through. But I know now why it's happening and what I can do to help work through it in the healthiest way possible, so that I can almost, I don't want to say speed up the process in an unnatural way, but allow for it to work its way through. Do I fall into the trap of really hard negativity and darkness? Yes, absolutely. But like I said, I used to live in it for years. I now have maybe a couple days every few months or something of that nature. And that's fine. Maybe a few days. And that's fine. And then right afterwards, I feel great. It's almost like a purge. It's an energy cycle. It's old energy cycling through. It comes from, everyone has their own story. It comes from parts within the body. It comes from parts within the subconscious. And so we need to be gentle with ourselves and see it as what it is for what it is. Identify it. And there might be something we need to face. There might be something unresolved, right? Don't fear the shadow. And also lots of rest through the process. Remember that energy is moving through you at that time when you're going through this. So know that Rest is very important. Take lots of rest, drink lots of water. Try to avoid substances or avoid numbing, and just allow it for just to really just cycle through. If you have wine, I mean, I used to drink often if I go through some things, um, a lot actually, but it just made it worse and the prolonged the cycle and the transformation that was trying to take place, and it stopped me from really facing what it was and being comfortable going into the dark. If you have a bad day where you're feeling down or negative or really dark or sad or crying, that's okay. That is okay. That's totally, totally fine. We all go through this and it's normal. I go through this. If you need to cry, if you need to vent, if you need to just, "Urgh," it's fine. It's totally fine. So I'm going to go. My arm is getting a bit tired. I know the camera's shaky. I apologize for that. I do hope this message finds you when you need it and offers some guidance, some assistance. I'm sending much love, much healing energy your way, and I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.